Well, let's look at major financial companies right around the world. It's the American banks really leading the charge back to the office. Citigroup, most British banks, and Switzerland's UBS, so they'll try a hybrid approach, as you can see there. Deutsche in Germany is expecting employees back next week. Compare that with Silicon Valley, which now competes with banks to hire the same talent. Twitter and Slack employees can go fully remote. Apple, Google, Microsoft and Facebook are going hybrid with generous working from home stints for those who want it. And Amazon, you can see there, initially said it wanted everyone back after the summer, but changed its guidance last week to allow 2 days per week at home. Kate Lister is the president of Global Workplace Analytics, and she's in San Diego. Kate, there is so much for us to talk about. This is such a hot topic, and I say, even with our team having a discussion about this story. But first of all, where do you stand, Kate, on the return to work? I mean, do you back Gorman's very stern comments?
Certainly not. 80% of the workforce says they want to work from home at least some of the time. And a third say that they would quit if their employer didn't allow it. We're already seeing in our clients people quitting because the organization hasn't declared what they're going to do.
So I suspect many companies will be afraid of this, of really their employees leaving if the financial company, is not flexible enough.
Well, if they're not afraid, they should be.
Yeah.
The quits rate just came out last week for April, and it's the highest it's been in a decade, the percentage of people quitting their jobs. They're voting with their feet, if not their keyboards.
So from those people you've been talking to, what do they want to see? Do they want to see a hybrid? Do they want to have flexibility? What are you hearing from not just employees, but also from companies?
Yeah, I did a presentation to a board of directors of a 65,000 person company this morning, and this was the entire topic of conversation. What we're finding from the surveys is that about 20%, 15 to 20% say they want to be permanently remote. About 5 to 10% say they want to be permanently in the office. And the balance want that hybrid experience. Managers are kind of leaning toward having people in the office 3 to 4 days a week. Employees are kind of leaning toward the opposite.
So, were any financial companies part of your discussion? Because it seems that from what we've just outlined, financial companies are going a very different way from the major tech companies. And I suspect there is no right or wrong answer here. I mean, surely this is about the culture they want to create.
It may be about the culture they want to create, but I just don't know if it's going to be possible going forward. Not all of the best and the brightest in the world want to live within commuting distance of a money center bank. We had already seen over the last decade, I mean, it used to be you'd get out of college and you'd want to go to work for a money center bank or an investment bank. And that has completely shifted. There's only maybe 1 or 2 in the top 25 organizations that college graduates now want to go to work for. So I honestly think they've got a rude awakening coming.
Well, it seems so, but if they're doing these polls and asking these questions, there doesn't seem that they are putting it into action. Kate, how much really of their reasoning for wanting people in the office is so they can say, you know, we have oversight?
Yeah, I mean, it's banking, the financial institutions have a very command and control culture. And historically, they have been the ones that have been slowest to adopt flexible workplace strategies. That mindset of, you know, my minions are here in the office and I can see them, the 18-hour days that they brag about, where, you know, people come in very early and leave very late, that must mean they're very busy. Well, Amazon is highest shopping time is during working hours. So they may not be as busy as you think doing the things that you want them to do. The whole concept of working remotely is giving people autonomy, trusting them, giving them goals and measuring them by what they do, not by butts and seats.
Is there any evidence, though, Kate, that supports their call for employees to come back, that they're more efficient, that they work better in a team rather than on Zoom? Is there any evidence there?
There seriously isn't. Everything we've seen in the research prior to the pandemic, and certainly during the pandemic, has proven that the question of productivity is off the table. People, the majority of people, 70%, 80% of employees and managers say that they are at least as productive or more productive than they uh, were in the office. The big issue is interruptions.
Mm.
People are interrupted, all the time at the office. And even with all of the cacophony going on in working from home over the past year, I mean, this hasn't been usual work from home, but even with all of that, people say they're interrupted 35 minutes a day less working at home than they were in the office.
Yeah, it is. It is such a divided topic as well, not just in finance, but also here in the UK. It is the topic du jour, I can tell you that as well. If you do hear from anyone working in the city, any working in New York City in banking, who decides he wants to quit because of that lack of flexibility, do let us know, Kate. Kate Liss is the President of Global Workplace Analytics. Thanks very much, Kate. Really appreciate it.
Great. Thanks, Isa.